Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always, told out of Voice of Radio. So today I'm here to tell you about the new Lapras EX event going on in Pokémon TCG Pocket, and I'm going to be telling you everything you need to know in terms of how it works, what the rewards are like, and how you can go about and crush it. Sound like a plan? Excellent. So it started off this morning, and the deal is it is a solo battle event, you against your phone or tablet or whatever, and there are 4 different levels of it. There's a Lapras deck, a Lapras and Starmie deck, a Lapras EX deck, and a Lapras EX and Starmie EX deck. There are various challenges that you have to complete other than just actually winning the battle, and then there are certain rewards for doing it first time round, and then rewards for hitting particular milestones. Now, in terms of the rewards, they're generally the things you would usually see, except there are also random drops when you win of the first ever promo pack, and that is something we are very excited about. In the promo pack, you get 1 out of 5 cards at random, and the best one, the one that everyone really wants, is Lapras EX. Although, to be clear, Lapras EX is not the best card in the promo pack. I'll explain which one is in a moment. But Lapras EX is a brand new mechanically unique EX, so a lot of people are going to be after it. In terms of what is actually going to be used in the future, actually playing the game, it's just a bad version of Articuno. Don't actually play Lapras. Lapras is just a bad version of Articuno. They're both water Pokemon. They're both EXs. They've both got the same HP. But Articuno, instead of healing 20, does 10 to all of your opponent's bench and has another attack as well. So don't actually use Lapras, okay? Lapras is pretty terrible, but it's still a promo EX and it's got the little promo symbol on it, and that's kind of lovely. You can also get yourself a Butterfree, which is just an alternate art of the existing Butterfree, which is in the game. Butterfree is fine, but it's, heal 20 meets your Pokemon once per turn. It's a stage 2. It's not proven to be a particularly great card at the moment. Don't worry too much about it. There is an alternate art Pikachu. It's the only Pikachu there, so if you're playing a Pikachu deck, yay. There's an alternate art, it's lovely, although it's not actually new, it's on a card we saw years ago at this point. You've got yourself an alternate art of Clefairy, although to be fair, this Clefairy slaps. Single energy, 20 damage, attack's called Slap. But then we've got Mankey, and here's the thing, right? Don't sleep on this Mankey. This Mankey is actually genuinely legit. The Mankey in the set has got 60 HP, single energy 20. This Mankey's got 10 less HP, but does 30 more damage, but does 10 to itself, so when you attack you get down to 40 HP. Sounds kind of bad. Nah, this Mankey's really good. And the reason this Mankey's really good is there are a bunch of Pokemon out there, like the aforementioned Pikachu, that have 60 HP and a weakness to fighting. And anything that's got 60 HP and a weakness to fighting, you'll do 30, plus 20 for the weakness, and then if you play Giovanni, which you absolutely can, then turn 1 going second, you can do 60 damage. In Pokémon TCG Pocket, you should be looking for every opportunity to do 60 damage, turn 1 going second, because that will get you a lot of very, very, very cheeky KOs. Pay attention, this Mankey could genuinely be legit. I like it a lot more than the other one, because I can get turn 1 KOs of it going second. And I think that's pretty rad. Now, in terms of how the event actually works, you go onto the Pokemon Pocket, you go into the battle, you go to solo battle, you select it, and you can go for any of the 4 of them, but you have to do the beginner before you do the intermediate before you do the advanced, and the advanced before you do the expert. But as soon as you've beaten them once, you can move on and do them in any order. There is stamina, however, with another different item we need, as you can see up here. And there are 5, and they refresh as you go along. They take like 12 hours to refresh each one. The good news is that there are event hourglasses, and each event hourglass will refill 1 of the spots. So you can see here that I need 4, and that's going to get me from 1 all the way back up to 5. So you are limited with how often you can do this. It's essentially once every 12 hours, but you can get event hourglasses to lower the time as you go. So how do you go about actually beating this then? Well, you got a whole bunch of options. If you're looking for just easy wins, especially on the earlier levels, then Zapdos EX is brilliant. Single energy 20, free energy, 50 damage for each head you can flip from 4 coins. There is a deck which I showed you previously on this channel where you basically play 2 Zapdos EX and no other Pokemon. And then you just play a whole bunch of your item cards and your trainer cards. So things like Giovanni for extra damage, Sabrina to make your opponent switch, Professor Oak, Pokeball, the usual kind of deal. And then you're guaranteed to start Zapdos. You'll be doing damage from your first turn. You're allowed to attach energy. Thundering Hurricane will do a lot of damage as long as you don't flip all tails. And you'll get through the first kind of 2 or 3 very easily doing this. Although, if you're looking for cheeky wins, I think Pikachu's better. I think Pikachu EX is phenomenal with this. You need to get yourself a full bench. You need to get 3 Pokemon on the bench. That's pretty important. But if you do that, you're just doing 90 damage for 2 energy. 2 energy is really not very much. The ideal here is that you start with something like Zapdos in the active, and then you build up Pikachu on the bench, and then you use X speed to bring Pikachu into the active, because you don't really want Pikachu taking any hits before you start attacking. In this way, you should run through most of this very, very quickly. In terms of other lightning Pokemon you want to play if you're going the Pikachu route, obviously Zapdos EX is very good. Electabuzz EX is very nice. 2 energy, 40 damage, if heads 80, if tails 20 to yourself. But with weakness, you'll be doing 60 here. So Electabuzz will be getting a bunch of cheeky KOs very, very nicely. Regular Zapdos does take free energy, which is a little bit of a pain. But then you're doing 100 damage and you've got 100 HP. So that one will run through quite nicely. I don't like it as much as I like Electabuzz, let's be clear. But I still think that it is got a little bit of potential there. And using Pikachu, and honestly, the only other ones I'm really attacking with here is Zapdos and Electabuzz. You want basics, you want to go nice and quickly. They are the ones that are going to get you there. So I think that's going to get you most of the way through. Now, there are a couple of challenges that you have to do to get rewards, which cannot be done in this way. You see, there is one that says win this battle using a deck where all of the Pokemon cards are of a 1, 2, or 3 diamond rarity, i.e. you're not allowed to use EXs like Pikachu and Zapdos. There is another one here whereby you have to bench a stage 1 Pokemon. You have to get a stage 1 Pokemon into play. And my answer for both of these is Jolteon. Jolteon is my secret weapon if I'm not allowed to use EXs here. 2 energy, 40 damage, flip 4 coins, 40 for each heads. It's a stage 1, it only takes 2 energy, and sure it's flippy, but the expectation here is 80, 100 with weakness, and you can overextend and even be like one-hit KOing Lapras here. So you're going to be okay, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be all right. I think Jolteon here is the best. If you're not allowed to use EXs, or you're trying to do those challenges where you don't, I think Jolteon is your guy. Again, Electabuzz is good. Heliolisk isn't terrible. 2 energy, 40 damage, flip a coin. If heads, it does 40 more. But there, your expectation is 60. You should flip heads half the time. So I knew you never actually hit 60. It's 40 or 80. But the expectation is 60. So I don't think Heliolisk is as good as Jolteon. But it is more common. And if you haven't got a huge card pool, you're more likely to have it. Electrode, honestly, I like better than Heliolisk as well. 2 energy, 70 damage. Again, I still prefer Jolteon. But I'm just saying if you don't have Jolteon, Electrode becomes a little bit of an option. And Pincurchin as a basic, getting paralysis on a coin flip, I don't love. But again, if that's the best you've got, I don't think it's terrible. I don't love it, but I don't think it's terrible. And yes, I know a bunch of you are going to want to muck about with Magneton getting energy to itself, using Lieutenant Surge to move it over to Raichu, and then using Raichu to do massive damage. You can, but it's so much effort. I just don't love that. It takes a lot to get it rolling. You've got to get your multiple stage 1s out. Then you've got to draw into your Lieutenant Surge. It's just annoying. And I don't think it's any better than Jolteon, honestly. So, personally, it's not something I really recommend. But you can if you really want to. One little tip from your old pal Wassy before we finish here. By far, the best Pokemon the AI has here is Starmie. Starmie is by far their best Pokemon, the EX, of course. 2 Energy 90 is one of the best Pokemon in the game. Starmie actually is low-key super annoying, and you might lose some of these if they get going nice and early. Remember, you should be playing 2 Giovanni in every deck, because it does an extra 10 damage, it's busted. Unless you are desperate for room, you should have 2 Giovanni in every deck. Well, turn 1 going second, Zapdos with a Giovanni, and weakness does 50. Staryu has 50, so just as a little bit of a side note there, do remember that Zapdos EX can get cheeky KOs on Starmie, so do consider leading that if your phone does have Starmie EX potentially ready to go. And then you can always use stuff like Red Card to put your opponent down to a low hand size to lower their chances of having Starmie, using Sabrina to try and force a Starmie into the active so that you can potentially KO it if they don't evolve it. Because remember, you can't use Sabrina and Giovanni in the same turn. So there we go. That's the event, how it works, what the rewards are like and all the new cards, and how to actually go about beating it. Honestly here, you should just be using some combination of Pikachu, Zapdos, and Electabuzz, is my personal opinion, and then bringing in Jolteon when you're not allowed to use the X's. So there we go. That's what you need to know. And now it's over to you guys. Have you played this event? Have you pulled Lapras? I pulled Lapras for my first promo pack, and I'm very happy about that. But I want to know how you're doing, so let me know in the comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at The Wassy. That's where we talk about Pokemon and a whole bunch of other card games. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. And get shout-outs on the channel like the lovely Chelsea Rose, who's been a supporter of ours for a long time now and is a very lovely person. So shout-out to them for the support and the loveliness. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.